Well, it's been a long time since we've been in Africa, and this time we're actually going to be fighting in 1976, unofficial warfare, as it were. That's right, we're using a number of different groups here now, namely we do have UNITA troops fighting with us, but we've got Portuguese troops, Irish troops, British troops, South African troops, you name it, all over the place. And we're actually trying to liberate this village of Kanoka directly ahead of us. Of course, the MPLA holds this area, and it's actually one of their strong points, as you can see. This territory that we're operating in is unbelievably dangerous. There's just no way around it. But let's face it, we need to attack and we need to secure a victory. Now over here, our South African friends do have some warthogs, quite a few warthogs actually, that we could use. But I have to say that my personal opinion of these vehicles is not a positive one. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and advance from a separate direction. I think you guys can see that, and see if we don't have some luck. I'm also going to grab the unit here at the crossroads, and these are our Portuguese units, de Mata, Alegre, Guilhermo, a bunch of Portuguese units here, as well as UNITA units. And we're going to drop them over here. Not every single one of them, just a few. And in fact, these guys are dug in, so they'll function as a sort of defensive buffer zone if the enemy decides to head this way. The fact is, though, we've got to get to that Kanoka area, and I think it's certainly going to cost us a lot of lives. Hell, I'm even tempted to grab those armor, those bits of armor, and actually bring a few over here. I'm actually going to move some of these trenches a bit closer. And let's actually get the trenches right there in the bush. I think that'll give our men a much higher chance of survival. Here's what I will do. I'm going to take Neto. It's one of our forces. And I will drop him over here by Kanoka. He is going to be the exception to the rule. And frankly, I think I'm being too kind here. I don't think this is necessarily going to help us. Nonetheless, though, guys, let's see how things go. And as always, I'll get back to you when the fighting begins. For starters, though, I want to go for that strong point with Macabo and Afonso. So we're probably going to be moving forward, but I'm going to keep this lineup. I don't want everybody bunched together. I want to be attacking in waves. So let's go ahead and get the fight started. Wish our boys some luck. Alright, pretty decent positioning here. It's hard as hell to see them in the trench. The question is, are they going to be ready for the MPLA forces facing them? Now, you might think I would attack here first, but in fact, I'm going to take these warthogs here, de Mata, all the men here that have actually been dug in, and I am going to push the Kanoka area from here. Although, since we're dealing with modern arms, I'm just going to get to the edge of the bush here. And we'll just make it a very standard move with normal columns. Get our men to get as close as they can to the front lines there and see what happens once we spot the enemy. They look ready to fight, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an easy battle for any of these men. Now, I just noticed, guys, some very good news over here, and that is that we do actually have an APC with Andrade. So I'm going to push him up a little closer to Kanoka there. We've got a second APC here. In fact, I think 4 total. We don't want to waste these things. Nope, 2 total, definitely. And sure enough, look at that. Immediately, enemy armor vehicles here. Let's try and knock them out instantly. We've come across a bunch of them, of course. Our warthogs are no match for them, so we've got to get those APCs up. And we've got to start targeting that massive group of armored units. Here we go, guys. Got RPGs for a reason. Stay put. Everybody stay put. We've even got an anti-tank group, and look at that. We've got some jets coming in. Just killed one of them. I hope those are our jets, guys. No indicators as to who they belong to, but a bunch of MPLA tanks directly ahead of us. I'm just going to get in the bush here and set up a defense, and hopefully we can make our men proud. Just going to keep them right there, keep the Warthog there, because the enemy actually has infantry as well directly ahead of us, but we have absolutely come across an enemy tank line. In fact, I'll get some of these guys back into the trench, while the rest of them continue the gunfight here. Pretty nice job on that first one. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back at all. But we did not expect an entire armored division here. Looks like our guys are getting the hell out of that vehicle. Probably a good idea. And again, I'm still going to target them. I'm still going to try to bring in those APCs. Andrade and the other one here. Unfortunately, this is not ideal terrain for this sort of vehicle. And I'm almost certain that those are MPLA air units. Unfortunately, as mercenaries, we don't get the kind of air support that we were hoping for. We get whatever the hell, you know, our buyers actually send us. And in this case, I don't think they're sending us much. Look at that, directly attacking our infantry line. We have not begun the advance over here at all. But as you can see, they are dropping rounds big time over here. We need to focus on this area and see if we can't break out. Look at how close that damn plane was. My goodness, guys. Let's keep it going. I hope we have a bunch of RPGs left. Got Mata staying out here. We might as well send him out over here. Try and go on the hunt with RPGs. My goodness. Look at those hits. No, we've got to move forward. We cannot stay put here. Let's just move out of those trenches, guys. Hopefully Andrade can get his act together and get the hell out of here, but these vehicles are not in the best shape. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at our men over here. Now, these guys, we held locations we didn't actually push forward. So let's see if this bush idea, well, this idea of remaining in the bush here was a good one, and if we're actually able to ambush the enemy. Oh, it doesn't look like even we can see out of the bush. And also, with all that air support, very hard to actually get a proper shot. Let's get Kitonga here. Let's get that tank. Come on, boys. Deny the enemy any armored support. That would be wonderful. Holy hell. See if Kahunga can do anything here. I'm hoping one of the men in the trench here knows how to deal with an enemy armored vehicle. At least one of these guys on the ground should be carrying some sort of RPG. What about Makaba? Yep, they are taking shots, but he's moving pretty quickly. Get him, boys. Get him, get him, get him. I think that MPLA unit moved a little too far. It's our chance to take him out. Even with all the enemy air support. Good shot, right in the side. Another one, he is dead. Those are the kind of results we need, friends. Especially with the Soviet tanks that they've got all over the damn place here. Let's set up those strikes. Again, whatever it takes to make it home, that's what's important. We're gonna have to jump over to the other front pretty soon here just to see if that APC is doing anything. Unfortunately, we just see that the enemy has got all of their armor here. It looks like the entire country's armor is in this area. And of course, we've got some Warthogs back here, but they're not going to do much. Wonder how this attack has gone. The enemy is just absolutely annihilating us with airstrikes here. We've got to keep moving forward. We cannot stay put in one place, despite the fact that a lot of these guys are suppressed. Now, we have knocked out a bunch of enemy vehicles, but I don't think it's going to make up for all the men lost there. We really need to try and knock these tanks out. I believe we got one. Look at that, boys. Yes, we did. Another APC over there. We're actually doing really well here on the ambushes. Another one down. Hey, guys, I think this bush setup actually worked out after all, so far at least. There is not a single enemy tank in that sector. They're all coming down from the road over here, but hopefully we can do exactly the same thing we just did here against this new crew. It's good to see this international crew working together, but certainly their bravery can only hold out for so long. That armor's right on top of us. We've dealt with it once before. Let's see if we can't do it again. And actually, we do have some AT units here. But again, they fired so many rounds. I wonder if they even have any AT rounds left. Come on, boys. Come on. Come on. Just look at this, guys. Unbelievable. Now, the goal here is, of course, the goal was to remove the MPLA from this village. And the question is, can we make that happen? I'm not so sure. These men are heroes, guys. Another vehicle down. We're going for the tanks now. And I think they're falling into our trap once again. This has actually worked out extraordinarily well. Look at that RPG hit right in his back. And it actually looks like the vehicle crew is trying to escape there. I don't think they're going to make it. Still got that AT team over here. Look at that. Yep, we've got the South African AT team. And now it's actually, we're starting to reveal the amount of enemy infantry over here by the crossroads area. But let's focus for now just on knocking out some more of these tanks. We hit another one over there. I mean, it would be amazing if we could knock out all of this MPLA armor, and certainly would give us a chance to take the village. Look at that, man. Beautiful work by the boys. I mean, these men have fought in countless conflicts. They know how to deal with difficult situations. Good shot. These tanks can still eat a bunch of rounds, but I think we've done quite a bit of damage there. And that's a kill for sure. Those are South African shooters, by the way. At least on this particular AT team. He's about to abandon the vehicle, but he hasn't yet. And meanwhile, we've got Kanoka over here to take, and potentially some more enemy vehicles over there by the strong point. Just look at that, guys. Look at how much we still have to deal with over here in this area. Now, most of our men in this area are entrenched. Nonetheless, the battle continues. Let's go ahead and just aim that way. Make sure everybody's focused on those targets. And yes, guys, another RPG shot. The second that we made them look in that direction, they got the hit. Let's see if we can follow it up with a kill here, because I want to remove any enemy armor here. And now I know one thing for sure, and that is that the strong point is a trench works. So I'm actually going to take Kihunga here. These are some of our African mercenaries. In fact, they could just be UNITA troops. And I'm going to take Gonga as well and move them into Kanoka. Again, I want to capture that village. I would even be willing to accept a ceasefire if the village is under our control. It's pretty much that simple. All those burning vehicles are not ours, guys. That's the good news. The bad news is now behind this group of very successful shooters. I'm starting to see some tanks moving through the brush where we don't have many men. There we go. Makaba does have a few RPGs, though, stocked away, evidently. Come on, boys. The Soviets are not going to be happy with all of this lost equipment. Still got the Mata's group over here. They're pretty much in the open. Although what I'm going to do is just kind of focus on anything at that tree line, basically. Hopefully they'll be able to get some pretty decent shots. I don't think I want to try and chance charging the strong point. basically at all, because it's going to be well defended, and this entire area has already been pretty well defended. Now, what about our boys over here, Guillermo's crew, all of our APCs? Yeah, they're still getting the hell bombed out of them. I have to say they became kind of the sacrificial lambs of this particular conflict. I'm actually going to try to engage some of the enemies there, but this entire group was just bombed since the beginning of the fight, and it hasn't stopped. Very unfortunate, but they allowed us to continue pushing over here. We've been wildly successful given the fact that we have no armor. Get it, boys, get it. That Soviet tank. Again, the enemy Air Force still bombarding the absolute hell out of us. We may have run out of luck here, or more importantly, run out of rocket-propelled grenades. Again, most of my focus is on those tanks, but we only have so many RPGs. Now, Kanoka is under our control. You can see the enemy actually sending a tank over to the village, possibly trying to retake it. Really want to try to hold Kanoka. There are a bunch of UNITA members in here, and if the MPLA takes over, they're sure to meet an awful fate. Let's move Kihunga over here if we can. I really want to try and engage that tank. So here we go, and sure enough, the enemy is going to bombard us. Are they going to hit Kanoka? Because that sounds very close. No, we'll be alright. We'll be alright. Yeah, so Kihunga is moving towards, well, not the tank, but at least the APC. Gotta try to take out some of the enemy armor. I mean, there is a chance, if we put enough pressure on them, that they'll either ask for a truce or just leave. Just leave and let us keep this area. They still have the strong point. We're not going for that. We're just trying to hold the village. Boys, you better defend this with your life. Take Mura as well. Back up just a bit here. You'll see we absolutely have AT teams here, but when you see them flashing like that, lets us know that they are suppressed. These are all anti-tank teams. I think also the distance is a bit of an issue. They're pretty far from us. They really are pretty far from us. Now, is there anything we can do over here about these guys with Makaba? I think the best thing we can do is actually just fire at the infantry, and those might even be vehicle crew. Let me get a closer look. No, I think that is standard infantry. However, they certainly lost one of their APCs over here. Just absolute vicious fighting in the bush. What else would you expect? Alright, with Kihunga's group, we are going to make a push right there. So essentially we're rushing out of the bush. Of course, that opens us up to all sorts of dangers, but I think it'll also allow us to overrun this group, take that vehicle out, and potentially get some of the officers all over the place here. I mean, they are all over the place getting out of the bush here. So it's our opportunity to start knocking down some infantry targets. I'm sure we've killed a lot of them already, just from the constant firefight, but I want to get as many as we can. Some of the guys will leave here in the bush and just provide supporting fire. There we go. Somebody did get an RPG out there. Let's get these mercenaries to focus forward, because I need them focused on the enemy infantry at this point. Where's your rifle, son? There it is. All right, all right. Yeah, some of our men are right up close and personal here. Kihunga's group is just about to break the barrier. Looks like we got another hit. I mean, unbelievable how these guys are doing this. But we took out another APC. I'm amazed. These guys fight better than just about any fighting force in Graviteam tactics. And I don't see that tank near Kanoka. I'm pretty sure we didn't destroy it unless we got unbelievably lucky. But I want to find that thing. Now, hold on a second. What's going on here? Enemy is going to offer us that ceasefire. In a situation like this, you know, we're trying to save men's lives as well as come away with a victory. I think the correct action, the appropriate action, would be a ceasefire. You know, we've taken the village. That was our goal. We've destroyed a number of enemy vehicles. And I think all that would be left here would be a pointless back-and-forth fight between the infantry and, of course, the remaining enemy tanks. And I'm sure our men are running out of AT rounds. So let's go ahead. We are going to accept that ceasefire, guys. If you enjoy these kind of fights, then make sure to let us know, or let me know, by hitting that like button, dropping a comment down below, and subscribing. Really does help me out, guys. And make sure that we upload these videos, you know, a little more often than usual. Man, I was not expecting a fight that insane. I loved every moment of it. Pure anarchy in a fight, to be honest with you. So let's take a look here at numbers overall. Casualties, we lost a ton of men on our side. 124 killed, 34 killed on the enemy side. Let's see, 131 wounded, 87 heavily wounded, and we had 24 missing on our side, 10 on their side. So definitely some prisoners taken. Nonetheless, I loved coming out of that thing, absolutely annihilating a number of vehicles and at least escaping with most of our men. But there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is a loss in every single way. But certainly a very difficult battle to pull off with all that air support. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one, boys.